we're going to be having the opening remarks in a bit from Councillor Shiraz Mirza, who is sitting here next to Malcolm Johnson, who is the chair of KCIL. After the opening remarks, Malcolm will introduce our new patron, and following that we'll go straight into the AGM business. Then we'll take a coffee break. This is really good not to be depending on technology. After the coffee break, we're going to come back and we're going to be joined by the Kingston Learning Disability Parliament. So we don't have that politicians from London coming, but we do have some people with learning difficulties who are well into, if not politics with a capital P, definitely policy and how it affects them in Kingston. So it'll be great to hear from them. I previously listened to one of their presentations and I was really, not just enlightened, but very impressed. I wanted to have the same presentation done here today, but unfortunately I believe they've got something better for us. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. Then we'll take a break for lunch. Oh great, we're getting there. We'll take a break for lunch and there we go. After lunch, I'll be doing a presentation on KCIL, sharing with you all the work that we've been doing over here and our plans for the future. And because we're not going to have the Deputy Mayor here today, I'm going to do another presentation on the London Plan. I'm not sure whether he was going to talk about that today, because he didn't let me into a secret of what was going to be covered in his next speech. But what I do know is that earlier this month, they published the fact that there is a new London plan that they're putting together, and they're actually inviting people to share their views. And so I'm going to actually share some of that information with you and encourage you to let us know what your thoughts are about it. And then at about 2:30, we'll end the day. So that is what we're going to be getting to today. Sorry we're slightly off programme in terms of time, and so I'm just going to crack on and introduce you to Councillor Shiraz Mirza, Deputy Mayor of Kingston. I hope I did say that well.
You got it right. Thank you very much indeed. I don't know whether people want me to stay sitting or stand up. I think many people have seen me over the years walking around in town and the streets, so I think I remain seated. Thank you ever so much for extending the invitation to me. I am the substitute for the Greater London Authority Deputy Mayor, so you have to put up with me next to a half hour or so. So thank you very much indeed for all of you for coming here this morning. As most of you know that having done the role of mayor a couple of times, but this is my first KCIL AGM, so I'm absolutely delighted to be here and asked to come, and I was so pleased when the mayor said he couldn't go, so I said, well, this gives me the opportunity to come and meet some of the friends in the audience here today. So obviously I know that we have a long program here this morning, so I will look forward to meeting with you once the meeting is over and meet with you formally. So thank you ever so much for giving me the opportunity to be here, and I'll pass it on to Theo for the later part of the agenda.
Thank you very much. Next on our programme, we're going to be asking Malcolm Johnson, chairperson from KCIL, to introduce our new patron.
Hello everybody, I think I'm going to try and stand up actually. Why not? I'd like to introduce our new patron, and our new patron is Anne Farley, and obviously many of you will know Anne. Anne was the person who really set up KCIL. She actually set it up back in 1968 and ran it from her own home. She's been involved with disability for many years, and as a result of that she's been honoured by the Queen for her contribution to disability. We are absolutely delighted to make her our patron. She agreed to do that, She's here today. I'm just going to ask her to come up if she'd like to say a few words. And I'd also like to make this presentation to her, which is, if you'd like to come up, Anne, and take this. We've also got a tie as well. We don't expect you to wear this, but I think if you have any male relatives, you can give it to them. There's also a tie for them. Let me bring that over.
Sorry. Well, Mr. Deputy Mayor, Chair of KCIL, and all those present here today, I would like to say, first of all, what a tremendous honour it is to be appointed as the patron of KCIL. I didn't quite start KCIL, and I think it's a great opportunity today to pay tribute to a disabled person who was in KCIL at the very beginning. His name was Alan Pinn, and he and Wycliffe Noble, who is an architect and specialised in architecture for disabled people, were really those people that started the organisation, and I came in soon afterwards. And yes, I did work for many years from my own home, and when I moved up to Streatham, I still was secretary for KCIL over those years. Those of you that know me will know how dear to my heart Centres for Independent Living are. And over the last 2 or 3 years, I've been working with the Department of Health to try and provide more funding for organisations such as KCIL. It's tremendously important that disabled people are involved. The reason it's important is because we are the people who fully appreciate the barriers that there are that affect everybody. And I think the great thing is that over the years, we have worked hard to ensure that our local community is as accessible as possible. We've worked hard across the London boroughs to ensure that we have access. And what that does is it opens it up for all people, whether they're people who have children, whether they're older people who struggle, and so on. It makes the community more accessible if we get access right. Last week, I decided to go over to Paris just for a couple of days, and I have to tell you that I was shocked at how little access there still is. And that can be due to a number of things. You know, perhaps the government hasn't listened quite so well as our government has. Although we've had to work hard with government has listened, and we have got some really great legislation now and great policies. And we can work with those. And I don't want to take up too much more time, but one of the things KCIL is really struggling with at the moment is to find funding for access and information. Now, there's enough of us here today to give a bit of time to come into forming a group and looking at access across the borough. Because what I've noticed, and what some of you may have noticed, is that the hard fought for access that we've managed to get is slightly slipping.